Hello, survivors, and happy Sunday from Sarasota, Florida. And today it is sunny outside, so beautiful, but I'm inside with one of my roommates, Boney. We're going to use Boney for a prop today to look at a few mechanisms of the Wuji posture. So, over the last many months, we've been kind of gradually moving into different Qigong movements and getting uh, a basic understanding of the flow and how chi flows through the body. But today I kind of want to go back to fundamentals. And maybe for the next couple of weeks, we'll see how long it takes to get through some of the basics of Qigong. I would like to revisit the fundamental poses and fundamental stances from which Qigong and Tai Chi begin and end. And that is called the Wuji posture. We'll talk about a few other, some of the energy channels like the Chong Mai and Du Mai and Ren Mai. Sounds foreign, and it is a little bit foreign to us Westerners, but I'll briefly explain it. Essentially, what all of that means is we're going to look at how energy flows through the body, what blockages there are to stop that energy from flowing through our body as survivors, and how we can improve and open up those channels and make the energy flow even better to give us more vitality. So thank you. A big shout out to Aortic Hope TV for sponsoring this session. And thank you for watching. As always, make sure that you've cleared it with your doctor before practicing any kind of exercise, especially Qigong or Tai Chi. And so find a comfortable spot. We're going to do some seated Qigong today, and let's move some Qi. So we'll start off by talking about the central channel. The central channel in our body, according to thousands of years of Chinese medical observation, runs from the top of the head through down through the perineum into the ground. So it connects us just like a battery pole, positive and negative. It connects us with the heavens, which is commonly referred to as yang, with the earth, which is also referred to as yin. So we're balancing yin and yang. And the way that central channel runs through our body is there's a point right here on the apex of our head. And it's called Du Mai, D-U-M-A-I. You can find Du Mai, or it's also referred to as Du 20.20 on the Du channel. You can find that apex point, Du Mai, by coming from the tip of your ears up, and where that line meets in the midline of your skull, that point is the apex or Du Mai. So energy, the yang energy of the cosmos enters our head. This energy field enters our head and comes down through the midline of our body and exits at Ren 1, R-E-N 1. It's called Wei Yin. So it exits, and Wei Yin is located right, it's on the perineum between the genitalia and the anus, that point right there. So then it exits into the ground. So we have this energy charge, this energy field that runs down the center of the body. Now, the Chong Mai, that energy field, needs to be open. So if you think about driving on the interstate, if the interstate is free of traffic and it's a straight shot, then you can go a lot faster. However, if the interstate curves and you have traffic jams, then you're going to have to go slow. You might hit a roadblock. It might take you it might take your trip many, many more hours than if the interstate was clear and straight. So we want to think of the Chong Mai, that central channel, as being straight and open, so that qi and blood, that energy, can flow through our body, giving us the vitality that we seek as survivors, having endured what we've endured. Now, if most people that we see today have the tech posture, where they're slumped over their desk, and we want to straighten that out so we can open up the Chong Mai. We'll talk about how we're going to do that in a minute, but there are a couple of tools that my Qigong instructor has showed us that help open up that central channel. So that's the Chong Mai. The Chong Mai is thought to be the original channel that develops in the fetus after conception. And if you look at pictures of the fetus, you can see that central channel that contains the spinal cord, a lot of the nerves, arterial system, cardiovascular system, tendons, muscles running down through the body. And that's where our vital energy flows. So the Chong Mai is the original channel. And from the Chong Mai, there's two additional channels that develop, energy channels. It's the Ren channel, which runs in the front of the body, down the midline, connects to the energy field in the back called the Du Mai, which runs up the spine, over the skull, and they meet right behind the upper teeth. So it's a big circle. Now, the Chong Mai is in the center, the Ren Mai is in the front, and the Du Mai is in the back. That sounds like a lot of new information, but it essentially is very simple. Just think of a big orbit of energy that envelops our body, runs up the front, down the back, and in the center. So that's kind of a synopsis on Chong Mai and Ren Mai and Du Mai. Now, we want to talk about our basic fundamental meditative posture. And that posture is called Wuji, W-U-J-I, Wuji. Wuji is the stance that has been developed by Qigong and Tai Chi and Chinese medical practitioners over thousands of years. It's been refined through the crowd source of information, doctors looking at patients and seeing which patients hold their body which way and what benefits come from those postures. So by refining how qi flows best through our body, Wu Ji posture developed. Now, Wu Ji is the ultimate emptiness. It's a meditative stance. And we're going to talk about how to move into Wu Ji posture in just a little bit. But Wu Ji is one of the most meditative stances that you can do as a Qigong practitioner or a Tai Chi practitioner. And as I said, most all Qigong flows begin with Wu Ji and then end with Wu Ji posture. So in Wu Ji, we want to totally empty all tension out of our body. And what my instructor has taught me about moving into Wu Ji posture is, first of all, we want to relax and open the joints so there is no tension in the joints. Remember about the analogy of the interstate. If qi and energy runs free, then it's very efficient. However, if there are roadblocks, then stagnation occurs. We don't want any tension because tension feeds stagnation. So as we sit in our recliners today, we're going to totally relax all of our joints. We can start with our toes. Just kind of wiggle your toes, relax your toes, relax your ankles, feel your calf muscles relaxing, your knees relaxing, your hips, your spine, your shoulders, your arms, your elbows, your fingers, your neck, putting a smile on your face. Just feel that sinking of relaxation. We want to hold up our bones and let our flesh sink. Just let your flesh sink. That is the first step in forming a Wu Ji posture. Relax, open the joints. We want to unlock any kind of stagnation and evenly distribute all of our weight across our body as we sit. That first step, that first key, as Marissa teaches, is a wonderful tool to use as you try to relax during the day. If you sit in your recliner or you're on your sofa watching TV, reading a book, relax, open all the joints. Very important first step in achieving Wuji posture. Now, the second step in maximizing qi flow is forming what we call the Taiji pole. And the Taiji pole is just a straight Chongmai, straight central axis. So instead of having the spine bent over, we're going to work with some tools, body movement tools, to straighten our spine and also straighten that Chongmai, that central channel. One of the first tools that I've learned is you want to sink your tailbone and lift your pubic bone. By doing so, when you sink your tailbone and lift your pubic bone, then our spine begins to straighten, especially the lumbar spine, the lower portion of the spine, L1 through L5, and also some of the thoracic spine. It begins to straighten. By straightening this portion, we've opened the Chongmai here, and our qi and blood and energy can begin to move a lot freer. We can feel that increase in vitality. Now, to work on the upper spine and the neck, what we have learned is that it's really good to tuck the chin in. As you lift your pubic bone, you tuck your chin in. And by tucking your chin in, you're going to lift this upper cervical portion of the spine and even stretch the head up, lengthening, straightening the Chongmai. You can envision, think about that apex point on your skull byway. Imagine a string is attached to that point and suspending your skull from heaven. So your skull's hanging there just effortlessly. And that's where we want to go with the Taiji pole, with our stance. We want to lengthen our spine, feel as though our head is being supported from the heavens, and then tuck in the tailbone and lift the pubic bone. That really will help take care of some of the tech neck stuff from sitting too long at a computer at the desk, which is not good for our vitality or qi flow. So that's step number 2. We're going to form the Taiji pole. A Taiji pole is just, you can imagine a straight energy field running from the heavens down through byway, the top of your head, down through your body, coming out your perineum down into the earth, and allows yin and yang to be balanced. Now, that's another concept. We can briefly talk about yin and yang. How many of you are familiar with the concepts of yin and yang? Basically, yin is everything earth, everything cold, whereas yang is light and heavenly and movement. However, just like with anything in our body and our health, you have to have the perfect balance of yin and yang for all the systems in our body and the world to function efficiently. So it's really good to be able to balance yin and yang. And so that's the concept of yin and yang. Now, what we're going to do for the third step in developing our Wuji posture technique is to sink our breath, our qi, into the lower belly area, lower dantian. We talked about belly breathing many times before, how on the inhale, our belly expands, and on the exhale, our belly contracts. Inhale, belly expands. Breathe with me. Exhale, belly contracts. Now, Boney is going to show us why that's so important. You see here, if we're doing chest breathing, the amount of, of area that our lungs can expand is limited by our rib cage. So we can try to inhale all day, and we're not anywhere near reaching full capacity of fresh oxygen that we're breathing into our body. However, if you look at the diaphragm runs here, and here's the belly. If you breathe out through your belly, on the inhale, your belly expands. Okay, Boney, belly expanding. Your lungs will drop down and you can bring in so much more fresh oxygen into your body on a breath. And that is so important. We find ourselves shallow chest breathing so often. And if we're sitting down, then we go to stand up and we're out of breath. We get lightheaded, we're dizzy. However, if we practice belly breathing, on the inhale, our belly expands. We're going to bring so much more oxygen into our body. And what that does is allows us to breathe slower, to not where we're not having rapid chest, shallow breaths that tire us out and make our whole body systems very inefficient. But as we open our belly, expand, it just allows so much more fresh air and oxygen to come in, and then we can expel out so much more carbon dioxide and stagnant qi out of our body through the exhale. So sinking the qi, our breath, into our lower dantian, our belly, and practicing belly breathing is so important. Now, we've also talked about kidney and back breathing too, which is just an adjunct to belly breathing. So not only does your belly expand when you have really efficient lower dantian breathing, also your sides come out and your back, where your kidneys are, expand. So you have like this whole balloon expanding right there. Just think, on the inhale, your whole lower dantian is expanding, and then on the exhale, contracting back to the spine. The fourth point in establishing, to help you establish the Wuji posture, is very important, and that is using intent rather than force. And I really like this point that Marissa has taught us over and over again. You know, if you go to open your door and your door's locked and you have a set of keys and you're jiggling it around and you're holding the package in one hand and the key won't go in, or it goes in and then it doesn't open, and you're never works, right? So just slow down, use intent on everything we do rather than force. And that's so important to establishing a good Wuji posture, a good Wuji meditative position after we relax our joints and form the Taiji pole and sink the breath down into our lower dantian. We want to be very intentful about everything we do. One of the biggest benefits I've been reading in articles lately about using intent rather than force is that it will ward off dementia. Now, dementia is very critical for us aortic dissection and aneurysm survivors, because a lot of us have been on the heart-lung bypass machine. You know, they disconnected our heart, right? When they replaced portions of our aorta. I've had that done multiple times, been on that machine multiple times. And every time that you're on that machine, even though it's very highly technologically advanced, you still can, the possibility is there to get tiny air bubbles in your blood that go to your brain, little embolistic events, little embolistic bombs that block blood flow to parts of your brain. And so that is what the people refer to when they say pump head. The pump head, you can't remember because your brain's not functioning, because you have an air bubble in your brain from being on the heart-lung bypass from your aortic aneurysm or dissection surgery or other surgeries that involve the heart-lung bypass machine. So using intent will help us as survivors avoid pump head as best as it can, and also dementia. I find myself today really having to be careful about letting my body take over when I do things around the house. You know, walk in the house, put my keys down without thinking I am putting my keys down. See, I'm using force without intent when I just throw my keys down, and then later on it's like, you know, where are my keys? Or where did I put my phone? Thank goodness I'm not putting it in the refrigerator yet. I do have a friend that has done that. So using intent is a good way to always have a reason for everything you do. You'll never have to forget or try to remember if you have a reason and acknowledge that reason for everything you do. You won't fall down because you know that next step you take is going to be a solid step rather than letting your body just go, 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 kaboom. No, use intent rather than force. And that is so important. That's the fourth point of the 5 keys that Marissa teaches us in Do Qi Qigong into maximizing qi flow and living a vital life and establishing that Wu Ji meditative posture. So the last of the 5 keys I like is one of the best, and I need to do it more, and it's smile. Smile. Marissa has taught us that SMILE is an acronym for Start My Internal Love Engine. Smiling has so many benefits. It's such a dopamine releaser, not only for yourself, but for the people that receive your smile. Smiling is a solution to so many problems. And importantly, smiling can really help us with healing, physical healing and internal healing. Our organs really do enjoy us smiling. So I like to do the inner smile meditation, and we've done this before in previous Qigong sessions where we'll sit in Wuji posture, very relaxed, relax, open our joints, form that Tai Chi pole and sink our breath into our lower dantian and have intent about what we're going to do next. And then tell each of our organs that we love them. Start off with our spleen, go to our lungs, go to our kidneys, our liver, end up with our heart, and tell each of them, I love you, heart. I love you, spleen, for all you do for my digestive process, developing good food, qi. We call that Gucci, developing good food energy, working with the stomach. Thank you, lungs, for breathing. And we're going to always be aware that we're going to help you out, lungs, by doing belly breathing. Thank you, kidneys, for all the filtration. Oh my goodness, I have a friend right now who's just starting dialysis, and it's a challenging journey for sure. So being kind to your kidneys, telling your kidneys every day when you wake up, thank you, kidneys, for all the work you constantly do. Giving your kidneys a lot of good water, fresh water, and just telling your kidneys, I love you and thank you. They'll respond. And then we have our liver who constantly filters our blood and cleans our blood. Thank you, liver, for, I'm so glad that I have my liver. Thank you, liver. I really want to take care of you through my diet, and we'll talk about diet some other time too. I really believe that there are a lot of good lessons to learn from a good traditional Chinese medicine diet. But thank you, liver, for filtering the blood as you do and removing toxins. Thank you so much. And of course, the heart, it's where our shen, our spirit resides, and pumping the blood through our body, never stopping. my heart, I'm always aware of it because I have that loud mechanical valve. Every second, one beat, 60 seconds, 60 beats per minute. The other day, I was doing a video recording, and it was real quiet, and I had my wireless mic on my shirt. And when I played the video back, I could hear my valve going click, click, click in the video. I thought that was so cool. Thank you, Heart. I love you for all you do. So those are the 5 steps. We'll review them just real quickly to establishing Wuji posture. You can do Wuji while you're sitting down or while you're standing up. Just make sure your feet are shoulder width apart and firmly planted on the ground. Of course, you're going to relax, open all of your joints, and then form that Tai Chi pull, the interstate highway that needs to be nice and open and straight rather than full of curves. We're going to sink our breath into our belly, our lower dantian, and anything we do, we'll do with intent rather than forcing, and always carry a smile. Now, I just want to give you 3 kind of analogies that you can take with you to help you remember some of these keys. I really like the concept of the golden balloon. When you're doing belly breathing, you want to think of this golden balloon that expands as you inhale, and it gets brighter and brighter, more gold, more golden, and more golden as you inhale fresh air and expand, and then contracts. So you can think of having a golden balloon that you're carrying around. This is especially helpful, as I've said many times before, when I'm in the car and I'm battling road rage, or those drivers that, I don't know, have high blood pressure. Belly breathing is such a good tool to help manage road rage, or if you're anxious about being late for going somewhere, about the test next week. I got so many tests coming up next week too. School tests. Anytime you're stressed out, belly breathing. If you feel anxious, belly breathing. If you can't sleep at night, insomnia, belly breathing is the way to go. Remember the golden balloon. Just the golden balloon gets brighter and brighter, more beautiful, filled with more valuable gold as you inhale and your belly expands. The second analogy that I'd like to share with you to help you remember some of these 5 keys is think of the cosmic tree. Your feet need to be planted on the ground, and from your feet resting very firmly on the ground, shoulder width apart. You can imagine all this chi, this energy that's flowing down through your Chong Mai central channel, is growing roots through your feet into the ground. And so you can think of roots in that cosmic tree. You're connecting to the ground. The earth is where we come from, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, right? So we wear shoes all day long, we walk on carpet, but we still need to make that energetic mental connection that we are part of the ground. And we find grounding energy when we put our feet on the ground. That's so powerful when you're dealing with the stresses of being a survivor, of surviving survivorship. Being grounded is so important. So remember the cosmic tree. The cosmic tree is a wonderful picture to think you have roots growing into the ground. And lastly, I like to, in thinking about the Renmai and the Dumai, that Renmai is the front channel and the Dumai is the back channel. It runs up the spine. To think of, as you exhale, your breath is coming down the front of your body, following that Renmai channel and ending up on your perineum. And then as you inhale, that breath, that dust coming out of your mouth travels back up over your head, back up the spine, over your head, and reconnects with your breath here, creating a beautiful orbit. We call this a micro or macrocosmic orbit, and we can do it to end this session today by first, let's put our hands out in front of us like we're holding a chi ball. My teacher always says this is the holographic representation of the energy in our bodies that we're holding right in front of us. And then we bring that chi ball down, back up the dumai behind us in a big orbit to our head. This flow, this Qigong flow is ancient and it's so relaxing. By doing it, you can feel the chi. I feel it right now moving up my back, down through my shoulders. Focus with intent, a smile on your face. As you feel that body energy moving, this is a very good exercise also for your shoulders. Really does help maintain. You can do this exercise while you're sitting watching television or reading a book or anytime, standing, sitting. The microcosmic orbit. Just move the chi, move that energy up and down. You do this 100 times a day, that would be almost 500,000 times a year, I think, or close to 50,000 times a year. That's a lot of shoulder exercises. That'll keep your shoulders really limber. But not only your shoulders, not only affects the fascia and the tendons and the blood flow, it also mentally does internal alchemy to your body, to your energy, and really helps you focus and understand. Very good meditative flow, part of learning Wu Ji. Emptying thoughts, focusing on living right now in the present moment, putting all worries, all stressors out of our mind, and just being in the present moment. Feel that chi flow. Last time, survivors. Bring your hands, let them rest on your knees. Thank you so much for dropping in today and learning about the Chong Mai, the central channel, and the Rin Mai, the front channel, and the Du Mai, the back. And Wu Ji posture. Wu Ji is where all Qigong flows start and all Qigong flows end. So, as always, thank you, Aortic Hope, for sponsoring this session. And may you be blessed and filled with Qi.